Hello, my dear students. Welcome to this session. In last session, we have learned about the Monera group. Next kingdom, which was explained by Whittaker, that is Protista. Actually, this is a unicellular eukaryotic group. So, all the organisms they will be single celled, but they are eukaryotes, and these are placed in this group Protista. Now certain photosynthetic protistician they are also explained, and we are including some of the protista. They are chrysophytes, dinoflagellates, euglenoids, slime molds, and protozoans, and we will be going to study the detail about all these groups. Generally, the members of protista are primarily aquatic, that means they are living in water bodies. This kingdom forms a link with the other dealing with plants, animals, and even fungi. Being eukaryotes, the protistician cell body contains well defined and large nucleus. Even the other membrane bound organelles are also present. Some have flagella, some have cilia for their locomotion. Then, if we talk about the reproduction, they may reproduce asexually or sexually by the process involving cell fusion and zygote formation. So, these were certain general characteristic features of Protista. Now, we have subdivided the Protista kingdom into 5 subgroups. First is chrysophytes. This group will include diatoms and golden algae known as desmids. They are found in freshwater as well as marine environment. They are microscopic, that means they cannot be seen without the use of microscope. They float passively in the water currents. Planktons, which we are familiar with this term, many times in food chain and food web we are using the word planktons or planktonic organism. So they are present in chrysophytes. Most of them they are photosynthetic. In diatoms, the cell walls forms thin overlapping shell which fit together just like a soap box, one fitting in other. The walls are embedded with silica and thus the walls are indestructible. So what happens? They left behind large amount of cell wall deposits in their habitat where they live. So thus accumulation over billions of years is referred to as diatomaceous earth, a special type of earth that is created. So being gritty, this soil is used in polishing as well as filtration of oils, syrups. Even the diatoms, they are the chief producers in the oceans. Now, the second subgroup, that is dinoflagellates. These organisms, they are also mostly marine and photosynthetic. They can prepare their own food. They appear yellow, green, brown, blue, or red, depending upon the present which is present in their cells. Then the cell wall, they have stiff cellulose plates on the outer surface. Mostly they contain two flagella. One lies longitudinally and another lies transversely, that means it is perpendicular to each other on over the cell plate. Then very often, few times, the red dinoflagellates, for example gynocalyx, it undergoes such rapid multiplication that they make the sea appear very red in color. So what happens? The red tides they are observed in the oceans. Even the toxins released by such large number may even kill the other marine animals like fishes. So some few characteristic points you have to remember. Even the underlined portion only you have to copy in your classwork. It will be easy for you to remember. So these points are important. Next group is euglenoids. I think you all are familiar with the example euglena. So euglena is included in such subgroup of protista. So majority of them are freshwater organisms which are found in stagnant water. What do you mean by stagnant water? The water which is placed as such without any movement, that is known as stagnant water. So instead of cell wall, they have a protein rich layer which is known as pellicle, and it makes their body very flexible. They have two flagella, one is short, one is long. Mostly we are able to see only a single long flagella. Though they are photosynthetic in presence of sunlight, but sometimes what happens when the sunlight is not fully available, they are deprived of sunlight, they behave like heterotrophs. That means they switch over to the another mode of taking nutrition. And it is possible by predating on other smaller organisms. So this is actually one of the best adaptations, and that's why they are living in a very suitable climate. They can survive for longer period of time. Even the pigments of euglenoids are identical to those which are present in even higher plants. Next subgroup is slime molds. They are saprophytic protists. That means they are feeding upon dead and decaying organic matter. The body moves along with the decaying twigs and leaves which are engulfing in organic material. Under suitable conditions, they form an aggregation called plasmodium, which may grow and spread over the several feet. But during unfavorable conditions, the plasmodium differentiate and forms a fruiting bodies, which are acting as a spores. And these spores, they travel, and they are also resistant and survive for many years, even in adverse conditions. So they are moved with the help of air currents. So in this way, they are showing the reproduction. Next subgroup, an important subgroup, is protozoans. The protozoans are heterotrophs, and they live either as predators or parasites. They are believed to be the primitive relatives of animals. They are again subdivided into four major groups. First is amoeboid protozoans. These organisms live in fresh water, seawater, or moist soils. We all know that amoeba, it capture its prey by putting out its pseudopodia, which is known as false feet. We are very much known about this. And even the marine forms have silica shells on their surface. Some of them, like entamoeba, are parasites. You will learn more in detail about entamoeba in your 12th standard. Then next subgroup is flagellated protozoans. So definitely they will be having flagella. These members, they are either free living or parasitic. The parasitic forms cause disease like sleeping sickness, for example, trypanosoma. So all these examples you have to remember, students. Next group is ciliated protozoans. They are aquatic, they are actively moving because of presence of thousands of cilia. They have a cavity that opens to outside of their cell surface, so just to procure the food. Best example is paramecium. And lastly, sporozoans. Here the example included is plasmodium. We all know it is a malarial parasite, and even about malarial parasite you will study in your 12th standard. So they are infectious, spore like stages are present, their life cycle that requires two hosts. One is human, we all know, and another is the female Anopheles mosquito. So disease causing sporozoans, they are affecting the human health. So students, in this particular topic, no diagram is important to draw. Only you are supposed to identify them. You have to recall them, that these diagrams, they are coming in under such category. So today we have learned in detail about kingdom Protista, including 5 subgroups. Please do revise it and make notes in classwork. Tomorrow we will meet with the next topic. Till then, bye bye students.